This is a consolidated Liberator, and it was in an aircraft just like this that Peter Taylor's incredible story happened. Peter was 100 when he spoke to us, but as he recounts his harrowing story, you'll find yourself on the edge of your seat. And when you reach that wow moment, you'll know it. Peter was here in the bomb bay, 16,000 feet above Austria, with the bomb doors open and a 1,000-pound bomb hung up at the far end. What happens next will make you understand why the sweat ran cold down his back.
The policy was that if you had a bomb that didn't drop when all the bombs were released, it was called a hang-up. Now, these hang-ups could happen for a variety of reasons. But in the Liberator, it was possible to walk down the middle of the bomb bay with the bomb racks on either side of you. And if you had a hang-up in a Liberator, it was my job to walk along the gangway and release the bomb by hand, which was like a bracket you spread with your thumbs, and you release the bomb. This particular night, we'd bombed a target, and I think it was Innsbruck, and we were flying at about 16,000 feet. And we dropped the bombs, but after the bombs had dropped, it was my job to inspect the bomb bay. Make sure it was empty. You always knew when the bombs had gone when you were flying, because the aircraft lifted. This particular night, I looked down the bomb bay and I had a torch strapped to my wrist. Shot it down the bomb racks, and there at the far end, it has to be the far end, there was a 1,000-pound bomb, hadn't gone with the rest. So that had got to be got rid of. Now the drill was that during the bomb run, when the bombs were dropped, my job was to be at the front of the bomb bay, holding a remote control handle back to stop the bomb doors, which were at the side of the aircraft, to stop them dropping down. Because if they dropped, it would stop the bomb release. So once I detected the bombs hang up, I then had to tell the skipper, and that was the signal for the bomb aimer to come crawling out from the nose and for me to walk into the bomb bay. So once I detected this bomb, I start walking into the bomb bay. Now you've got to remember, I'm wearing full uniform, flying jacket, leather-lined trousers, boots, leather boots. I've no helmet because we didn't wear helmets in Liberators. And I've got intercom, but I can't use the intercom in the bomb bay because there's no point to plug in. So I have to walk in there. And remember, I've got my May West and then my parachute harness over the top. So I'm really like Michelin Man. Well, I walk in and then I've got to get between the struts that support the bomb racks on this walkway. So I negotiate the first two struts, get between them. It's a bit of a struggle. You have to turn sideways and twist. And I get right down to the far end, the back of the bomb by the end. And I'm just getting through the last strut to get to the bomb when the little bottle of CO2, which is attached to your Mae West and has a handle which you flick to fill the Mae West, when my handle on the bottle catches in the metal fabric of the strut. It was a terrific anti-aircraft explosion right under us that threw me, and I had to grab to hang on to stay on the platform. And in doing this, I twisted and the lever on my bottle flicked and it inflated my Mae West. Now that inflated my jacket, which blew the whole jacket up, and it trapped me between spars. And I just was stuck. I couldn't move. I got a release valve at the back of the Mae West, but I couldn't reach it. I couldn't get my arms there. I couldn't move. I was solid in this grip. In the meantime, the bomb aimer's got as far as the front of the bomb bay. He's now opening the bomb doors, wondering what I'm doing, closes the bomb doors, puts a torch on, sees I've got stuck, shuts the bomb doors. There's a terrific explosion and again, and the aircraft literally turns on its side. And I'm hanging on. I'm stuck. I'm not going anywhere. The bomb aimer gets thrown back across the lower flight deck. So he's out of the way for a minute or two. Eventually, it settles down again. But I still can't move. I'm trying desperately to get my arm round my back to open the release valve. I can't reach. I just can't get there. And it was so flipping cold, I remember. It was freezing. Absolutely freezing. But even though it was freezing, I remember vividly I got water running down my back. Fear, pure, unadulterated. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And then, quite out of the blue, there's another series of explosions where we've obviously got caught in an automated system of ack fire, and it's targeting us personally. And we get another terrific burst, and we're flung all over the sky. And this time, I don't know, I suddenly realised that I could move. And when I looked down, there was a big split in my Mae West. It had been torn open. It had let air out, which enabled me to move my arm. I was able to move an arm around my back and undo the release valve, which let all the other air out. Now I could move. So, having let all the air out, I now turn round and release the bomb. And it goes, thank goodness. I eventually make my way back along the gangplank to the lower flight deck, climb up onto the top flight deck. My skipper's there, out of his seat. I'm shaking like a leaf. And he just grabs me and throws me on the floor and tells me to lie there and not move. And I lay on the floor, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, probably 20, before I was in a fit state to get up and resume my duties. And I was shaking like a leaf. Really, really, truly. I was in a state. As we flew back, we got about 3 hours in front of us. I resumed my normal duties and I was able to do everything. We landed, the shaking had stopped. I stepped out of the aircraft. As soon as my foot touched the ground, I was violently sick. Violently. I was okay to go back to debrief, but when the commander, our squadron commander, saw the state of me. He sent me out, told me to go to bed. And I remember staggering back to the tent and falling into my mosquito net, and I slept. I slept, I don't know how long for. The next thing I know is I'm walking on the path outside the tent in the cold night air, it's black. Apparently I'd been screaming my head off, and they'd pull me out of my blankets, out of my net, mosquito net, and push me outside the tent. And I walked up and down till the shaking all stopped again. And I went back to bed. The next day, I'd no shakes, and I was able to be debriefed. I didn't get the shakes again, lucky for me. But what I did get, for about the next 3 weeks, the 3 other lads in the tent with me had to put up with me screaming my head off in the middle of the night and having nightmares. And they did. The procedure was they just simply pulled me out and shoved me out in the night air. And after a few minutes, I'd come back in. It took the best part of 3 weeks before I stopped having these nightmares. But I was lucky. Many people never got over them. And our navigator was one who had problems. And I felt very sorry for him, but I was lucky. They went. Fortunate. But you saw all around you people who were suffering like that. You saw pilots who should never ever have been flying aeroplanes. You saw navigators who were totally incompetent in the state they were in. Gunners who would take a bottle of whiskey into the turret with them. Yeah. I was lucky.
For more incredible stories, or to share your RAF history with us, visit our website, rafstories.org, or join us here in London or at our Midland site.